Afternoon, friends and students. Myself, Dr. Ravikant Pathak, and I am the biology faculty, NEET biology faculty in Excel Academy Private Limited, Thuthukudi, Tamil Nadu. So today I am going to discuss about the uh, Planty Kingdom chapter, and we have already discussed some topic of this chapter, and about the algae. We have already studied some topic of this chapter, algae, and in algae you have already seen about the algae, that is the thallus structure reproduction and their classification as well as economic importance. So in the sequence of this algae, so we have finished algae, and now I am going to start a new topic of this chapter, that is the Bryophyta. Okay, so we are going to discuss about the Bryophyta, and you know very well. So Bryophyta is also known as the amphibians of the plant kingdom. So why we called amphibians of the plant kingdom? Because it can be it needed the water. It needed the water for sexual reproduction. For sexual reproduction, it needed the water, and you have already studied in the animal kingdom. So one class which is known as the amphibia. And why we called amphibia? Because amphibia, they can live both land as well as uh, water. So they can live both land as well as water. So due to this, it is considered as a amphibian plant kingdom. So due to this, it is also called the amphibians of plant kingdom. And it includes, if you'll see, so it have the two different types of the group. So first is the liverworts, another is the mosses. So you can say it have the two different groups. So one is the liverworts and another is the mosses. Clear? And if you will check their habitats, so bryophytes, if you will check their habitats, so it generally located in, it generally grows in the, they are growing in the moist shaded area in the hills. Clear? So it generally grows in the shaded places. It means you can say shaded places, areas in the hills. Okay, so this is the property we are discussing here, a specific property of the bryophytes. And we have discussed one thing, amphibians of the plant kingdom, which includes two groups, liverworts and mosses. And second, if we read the second statement, so second also very important, and second statements have given about the mosses play an important role in the plant succession on bare rock soils. So it means you can say this sentence explaining bare rocks and soil with lichens. Lichen, you already studied lichen, also known as the pioneer of the rocks, and it is also considered as a pollution indicator. Why we are saying the pollution indicator? Because if where pollution much, so where if any places where is the much pollution, so lichens will not grow that place. Clear? And it is also considered as a pollution indicator. It shows the symbiotic association with fungus as well as algae. So that is this is a type of association, symbiotic association, fungus and algae. So this is the other thing. So what is the we will discuss about the respects of bryophyte and lichen. So bryophytes, lichens, it involves in the succession phenomenon. It involves in the ecological succession. So lichens only, they have not ability to only perform individual succession. They needed also help of the mosses. Clear? So mosses and lichen together involves in the ecological succession, and succession is the phenomenon where the formation of vegetation takes place on the bare soil or bare rocks. Clear? So I think you are understanding this statement. So mosses play an important role in plant succession on bare rocks soil with lichens. Clear? If we read the next sentence, so they lack true root. It means you already studied. So algae, you have already studied the algae. Algae have also their plant body like thallus. Algae plant body like thallus. So here bryophytes also their plant body considered as a thallus like. Bryophytes plant's body also considered as a thallus like structure. And you know very well, so thallus means the plant body is not differentiated into root, stem and leaf. And you already maybe you have studied one classification in which plant have classified into the cryptogam and phanerogams. Clear? So cryptogams and phanerogams and cryptogams. So here algae, bryophyta, pteridophyta, they belong from the cryptogams. Clear? So it means why? Because if you'll check, so algae and Bryophyta are considered as a Thylophyta. Okay. So next thing also I have given, if you read the next thing, they have also given the about dominant. If we'll check the plant body of the Bryophytes, so the plant body of Bryophytes is considered as a dominant gametophytic stage. So it means you are understanding the plant body of the Bryophyte is the gametophytic stage is the dominant. Gametophytic stage is the dominant means throughout the, if we'll check the throughout the plant body. So gametophytic show the existence independent. It means it can live independently existence. So this is the very important, and this already asked 2 to 3 times in the NEET examination. So due to this I am emphasizing this sentence. So the dominant plant body of the Bryophyte is haploid. And why we called dominant? Because it show the independent existence. Clear? So these things have given about the Bryophytes. So next specific characters of the Bryophytes, sex organ. So sex organ, if we'll check the Bryophyte sex organ, so first sex organ, that is the male, and male sex organ is also known as antheridium. The Bryophytes male sex organ is known as the antheridium. Clear? So Bryophytes male sex organ known as the antheridium, and antheridium is the biflagellate anthrazoids. Biflagellates because it needed the it needed the water for external fertilization. So due to this male partner, they have the 2 flagella, and with the help of these flagella they can perform the fertilization phenomenon. Clear? So next, female sex organ. Female, if you check male and female, both have the multicellular structure. Male and female of the Bryophyte sex organ so have the multicellular structure, and the female multicellular structure which is known as the archegonium. It is known as the archegonium, and shape of the archegonium, that is the female structure, flask shape. And how many egg produce? It produce only single egg. Clear? It generally produce the single eggs. Next thing, this also, this and this sentence, both sentence are the same, but they have the little bit differences. What is the difference? You can see the sporophytic plant body. If you check the Bryophytes, only Bryophytes have the dominant gametophytic stage, but sporophytic is the not a dominant. It means you can say Bryophytes only dominant species, dominant stage is the gametophytic, and the sporophytic plant body is the dominant in case of the Pteridophyta, gymnosperm as well as angiosperm. Clear? Angiosperm, gymnosperm and pteridophytes, these have the dominant plant body is the sporophyte. And if you check the Bryophyta, so Bryophyta, their plant body, they have also the sporophyte, but the sporophyte is the not independent. It means it depends. Where it depends? It depends on the gametophyte. Why it depends? It depends for the nourishment. It generally get nourishment from the gametophytic stage of the Bryophytes. Clear? So due to this, the gametophytic stage of the Bryophyte is the dominant, and sporophytic is the less dominant, means not dominant. So it means you can say it depends on the gametophytic stage. Why? Because it get nourishment from the dominant gametophytic stage of the Bryophyte. Okay, so now we have discussed about the characteristics of the Bryophyte. So now I am going to discuss next topic of this Bryophyte so you can say Bryophyte group of the plants. And these Bryophytes have the these Bryophytes have the economic importance. So if you read the first sentence of the Bryophytes, so that is the very important. It have the Bryophytes. If you check the Bryophytes, so Bryophytes are the less ecological importance. Sorry, less economical importance. If you read this, less economical importance and more ecological importance. Less economical importance and more ecological importance. Why we are considered as a more ecological importance? Because I had already told these things with the lichen, mosses with the lichens, they have ability to involvement in the ecological succession phenomenon. So due to these mosses considered means these bryophytes have the less economical importance and more ecological importance. Clear? So this thing I will read this sentence they have given. So mosses along with the lichens, first organism to colonize rock through the ecological succession, and lichens also called the pioneer of rocks. Why? Because lichens have ability to break the soil into break the soil particle break the rock particles into small soil forms, and mineralization means that is the breaking of rock into the soil means pedogenesis. Simply you can say it involves in the formation of pedogenesis, and pedogenesis means simply the formation of soil. It is called the pedogenesis. Okay, so now next we'll check the next point in the sequence of economical importance of the bryophytes. So first second it have given the some mosses provide the food. If we'll check the economic importance of the bryophytes, so food. These bryophytes used for the food of herbaceous mammals. Clear? It's only used for the food for herbaceous mammals. Herbaceous mammals means example cow, horse, and elephant. So it means you can say bovine animals. Bovine animals are ruminants, or you can say cud and chew animals. That is herbaceous animal. Birds and other animals they used as a food. So some masses they are used as a food for herbaceous mammals and birds and other animals. Clear? So next thing also have given the species of some species of sphagnum. Some species of sphagnum. So here they have given the some species of sphagnum, that is the moss, which is used as a coal, and the coal name peat. The coal name is the peat. So some sphagnum moss which is used as a coal, and the coal name is the peat. And this coal name is the peat, and it used as a fuel purposes. Clear? So coal you have already known very well. So coal generally used for the fuel purposes. Clear? So it means you can say this is the economic importance of the bryophytes, and in the sequence of the economic importance of the bryophytes. So we are going to discuss about the next economic importance. Okay, so some mosses used as a packing. If you already you know very well World War First. When World War First happened, so that time this mosses used as a dressing purposes. Why dressing purposes? Because these mosses have the good water holding capacity, and mosses have ability to carry the 20% water hold of their body weight. Clear? It means if you have the 2 kg sphagnum or mass, so it can be able to it can be hold to 200 ml water. It can be able to hold 200 ml water. Clear? So it means due to this water holding capacities in the world first world war, they have used as a dressing purposes. Clear? And sometimes this moss is also used as a sanitary napkin. Sometimes some also company in the in Germany and other countries, they are preparing this sphagnum for the napkin purposes. Clear? And due to the water holding capacity, so some florist means those people who is relevant with the flower culture and their marketing. Clear? Cultivation, production, and their marketing, that is called florist. So some florist this sphagnum or mosses used for the purpose of transshipment of the living metal. Living metal means flower. So transshipment of the living metal or flower. So these only used. Okay. So these only used. So that this thing have given. If we'll check the next property, next economic importance of the bryophytes. So they have also given since mosses, and one thing also already told. So these mosses also have the more ecological importance. Why? Because these mosses also forms the dense mats. If we'll check the this moss, so you can see here this moss forms the dense mats on the soil. Dense mats on the soil. If suppose that rain happening, so that time it form the dense mats of the soil. It form the dense mats on the soil. Then what will happen? Water will drop on these dense mats. It directly not fall on the ground, not on the soil. So due to this, it also helps in the prevent soil erosion. So it means you can say it also helps in prevention of the soil erosion. Clear? So this is the economic importance of the bryophytes. So I think you are getting a very easy way, and this is the economic importance, and we are discussing only NCERT. Nothing is here. We are discussing only the NCERT. So now you can see next thing it have given about the group of the mosses. So mosses, group of the bryophytes. So bryophytes are divided into two different groups. Bryophytes are divided into two different groups. So first is the liverworts. So first you can say first is the liverwort. So first is the liverwort. So here you can say this is the first is the liverworts. And liverworts, if you check the liverworts plant body, so their plant body is the thylaid. Thylaid means you know already, and we have tell a number of times. We have told a number of times. So we will not go to discuss about the thallus. Clear? Thallus, you know very well. So example is the mercansia. Example is the mercansia of liverworts. So it means you can say it grows. You can say it grows usually in the moist. If you'll check the liverworts where it generally grow. Most of the bryophytes you already seen. So most of the bryophytes it generally grow in the moist and sandy habitats. Okay, but here sometimes it can also grow in the bank of streams, marshy ground, and damp soil, and bark of tree, and deep in the sea woods. Okay, so these liverworts generally grown. Okay, so next thing also very important, and these are you can say asexual reproduction. Clear? Asexual reproduction in liverworts. Asexual reproduction in liverworts takes place by the fragmentation of the thalli. This is the very important fragmentation of the thalli. Fragmentation of the thalli, and these thalli involves in the asexual reproduction. So you can see here the structure of the mercansia. Here you can see structure of the mercansia. Okay, and mercansia you know very well. So these mercansia are dioecious structure. Dioecious means both sexes are separated, means male separated, female separated. And in NCERT, they have already asked in the NEET examination one question, and they have given the figure. They already have given the figure, and he asked with students. So which part of this mercansia, which is the male and which is the female? So how you will recognize? You can recognize very easily, because you know female always appears beautiful. So here female, if you check the NCERT figure, I have not picked up this figure from the NCERT. We have picked up this figure from the other sources. So it means you can say, so these gemma cup, these mercansia, female have the very beautiful. Female generally appears very beautiful, and you can differentiate between with the help of figure. With the help of figure, female have the if you'll check their structure, this structure. In case of the female, looking very good, and in case of the male, so little bit not good. Okay, so due to this, you can differentiate between male and female mercansia. Male mercansia have the special structure which is known as the archigoniophore, and female mercansia have the archigoniophore, and male mercansia have the entridiophore. Clear? Male mercansia have the entridiophore. Okay, so it means you can say here this is the you can say that is the reproduction this structure. If we'll check this structure of the mercansia, so mercansia also have a specialized structure. Mercansia have also a specialized structure which is known as the gemma. Okay, gemma is the singular and gemmi is the multicellular. Clear? So they have the gemma, and gemma considered as a singular. Clear? So gemma, and these gemma cups, so you can say here these gemma cups develops into the small receptacle. These gemma cups develops into the small receptacle, and this is called the gemma cup. Clear? These gemma are green. If you check the property of gemma, so gemma are the green, multicellular, asexual birds. Clear? Already we are discussing here about the gemma. So gemma are the green, multicellular, and asexual bird. Means it involves in the asexual reproduction, and it further means later it can develop into the small receptacle and forms a cup-like structure. And the gemma cups involves in the protection phenomenon. Clear? So it forms a gemma cup like structure, and these gemma cup further detach from this and forms a new individual. Clear? And forms a new individual, new bryophytes. Clear? So it forms a new individual or new bryophytes. So it means gemma cups also is important, and they may be asked in your examination. So what is the gemma cups? So then you will think gemma cup is the green multicellular asexual birds, and which involves in the formation of new individual, new bryophytes or new mergansia. Clear? And one thing also have given, the sporophyte is differentiated into food, seta, and capsule. It means you can say the plant body. So it means you can say the plant body of the bryophytes. So the plant body of bryophyte is the gametophytic dominant, and sporophytic is the not dominant. Why? Because sporophytes is dependent on the gametophyte. Clear? And sporophyte have the three different structure. If you check the sporophytes, so sporophytes have the three different structure. FSC. FSC means food, seta, capsule. So food, seta, capsule have the three different structure of the bryophytes. Okay, so now second group. So second group of this have given, that is known as the mosses. Second group of the bryophytes, which is known as the mosses. Okay, and mosses, if we'll check the evolutionary sequence. So firstly, algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperm, angiosperm. So algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, this belongs from the cryptogam, and gymnosperm and angiosperm, this belongs from the phanerogams. This belongs from the phanerogams. So it means you can say here these have given the mosses. So say first we have discussed the first group, that is the liverworts. So second is the mosses, and mosses have the two different stages. So first predominant stage, which is known as the protonema. So here you can say protonema stage. So protonema stage, and what is the characteristics of the protonema stage? This is the creeping, green, branched, and frequently filamentous stage. Clear? So mosses have the two different stages. One is the protonema stage, another is the leafy stage. So protonema stage they have developed from, so you can see this protonema later develops, this protonema directly develops from the spore. Sporophytic plant body of the bryophyte later develop into the protonema stage, and this protonema stage is the creeping, green, branched, and frequently filamentous stage. So this is the protonema stage. Clear? This is the protonema stage. So now you can say second stage. Second stage I already told, that is called the leafy stage. So second stage is known as the leafy stage. So second stage of bryophytes is known as the leafy stage. So here they have given the leafy stage, and this leafy stage develops a secondary protonema. This also forms the secondary protonema, and these secondary protonema further attached. They forms the lateral bud, and these lateral bud attached and soil through multicellular branched rhizoids. It means you can say leafy stage characteristics. It have the branch, leafy stage characteristic, branch, rhizoid, beards, and sex organs. So very important. One thing already asked in the NEET examination. So leafy stage of the mosses. Beards, which type? Beard what? So beard, sex organ. So you should know. So leafy stage of the mosses, beards always sex organ. They bears always sex organ. They also have the rhizoids. And rhizoids, you can say this is a type of roots, not type of root, similar to root, but not actual root, because we already told. So bryophytes plant body is means thallophyta, like thallus. So it means not differentiated into root, stem, and leaf. It have not differentiated into root, stem, and leaf. Clear? So here this is the property. So next, if we'll check the compare between liverworts and mosses. So mosses, because if evolutionary sequence, mosses have the well developed. And why we are considered well developed mosses? Because they have the more, so it means you can say elaborate spore dispersal mechanism. Mosses have the elaborate spore dispersal mechanism. So due to this, if you compare between liverworts and mosses, so mosses is much better than the liverworts. Clear? So mosses is much better than much better than the liverworts. So if you read this sentence, sporophyte mosses is more elaborate than liverworts. Clear? Why? Because evolution is going on. It means evolution, in evolutionary sequence, liverworts came first, then mosses came. So mosses have the good characters. Mosses have the good characters in compared to the liverworts. Okay. And if you see the structure, so the capsule contains spores and spores after meiosis. Means spores forms after the meiosis. Clear? Spores, here they have been, the capsule contains spore and spore are formed after the meiosis. Means after meiosis, spore formation takes place. And if you will check the example of mosses, so here they have been the F, P and S, means Funaria, Polytrichum and Sphagnum. So Funaria, Polytrichum and Sphagnum. So these are considered as a example of the mosses. Clear? So these are considered as a example of the mosses. So we are discussing about the crash course. So we will provide that things which will ask. So they have the 100% probability they can ask in your NEET examination. And I think we have given these points, and these points are very important. These points are very important. I think you are getting very good way. So thank you, and you can subscribe my channel. So boost, that is the biology boost classes, and hit the bell icon for regular updates. So thank you.